Hey, what's up, guys?
Yay.
Just hanging out here in front of my, simple living trailer. Trying to conserve energy and stuff.
What is
Um,
that? What is that, like one of those Gulfstream
yeah, it's
trailers?
it's it's self-sustainable. All of that good stuff.
It's made from recycled Coors cans.
Yep, exactly. But not the can. Just the thing that you break off.
The
So
tabs.
it took a really long time. They had to melt it down. Um, but yeah, we wanted to do an episode on like some sports stuff. We're really big into sports, so we wanted to start incorporating some stuff like that just to add more content to the channel. Um, this weekend's going to be a really big weekend for UFC 280. Um, and yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. It's one of the cards that I'm really excited for. It's taking place in Abu Dhabi. So they always bring the big guns to Abu Dhabi.
Do you
No,
ever
plus,
see? Do you ever see the? I think it was Andy Kaufman. He did that drum segment with the Abu Dhabi. He would like bang on the drums, like Abu Dhabi, Abu Dhabi.
I did it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, so we'll go, I guess, piece by piece. We'll start with the UFC since I'm kind of watching a fight right now in the zone for UFC, and we're gonna do also some NFL picks for Week 7. We're gonna try to see how the algorithm treats us with these kind of posts. And yeah, by the way, if you're watching, like, subscribe, comment. It helps us out a lot. And
And we're also gonna touch on some of the other current events too, right?
yeah. We'll
Yeah,
definitely do that.
we
Um,
got we got a lot of controversial shit, transpiring in the world. Some interesting times. So
Yeah.
definitely.
So we'll start with the UFC picks. Just a few things I wanted to go over. Um, right now, there's like Charles Oliveira fighting Islam Makhachev. That fight is really interesting because for a lot of I would say like more casual fans, like there's some names on here they don't really know, but this is like the fight that never happened between Khabib and Tony Ferguson that everyone always wanted to see. This is kind of like Tony 2.0 versus Khabib's, protege, so we're kind of getting it all these years later with different people. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's a few fights on the card. I'll just go over the main card because this isn't like an MMA channel, so we gotta get into the full card. But there's also another really interesting fight with Aljamain Sterling and TJ Dillashaw. A lot of controversy because TJ Dillashaw's gotten caught cheating, using the juice.
Oh, he was juicing.
Yeah, he was juicing, and supposedly he's been doing his whole career. He got caught.
How long
Um,
did they suspend him for?
it's usually like typically the first time you get caught is like around a year. It depends what you're using, but yeah, it seemed like a year. And the crazy thing is when you get to that level when you're champion, most of the time, like unless you're an active champion, you're fighting like twice a year. So like a year is really not that kind of like purgatory, so to say. Like it's like, oh, I got
Yeah.
a good rest, and I'm gonna get better because I'm gonna actually relax. So sometimes it's like you heal up, like I don't know, kind of counterproductive. Um,
Isn't Aljamain's like partner, training partner, isn't he like one of the higher contenders too?
oh no, he's a champion. Yeah, he's the champion. He beat Peter Yan for
Oh,
the
he
belt.
did?
Yeah, and then he defended the belt, so this would be his second defense. Um, he trains at Saralongo, which is where Chris Weidman came out of. A lot of Ally Aquinta.
No, but who's that well, I don't even know what the demonym is for Dagestan. What do you call it? Dagestani? Is that it?
Dagestani, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Um who's the Dagestani guy who's like close with Sterling?
Oh, Darab Makashvili. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Yeah. So he's like, I guess what came to New York and I guess joined their team, but he's really good too. But yeah, I mean, he's got a Dagestani in his corner just to get some inside information. But yeah, then I guess like the people's fight the People's Championship of this fight would be the second fight on the card, on the main card, Beneil Dariush versus Gamrot. That's like, sometimes you have people who aren't champions who are really tough, and like they're not as marketable, so it takes them a longer road. These two guys are like really like tough fighters, like the kind of people that are avoided in the weight division. That's going to be good. And then the third fight of the main card, it has Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean, fighting Peter Yan, and that guy's like, a lot of people are saying is like the next Conor McGregor. He's got a lot of appeal to the younger audiences because he looks like Tekashi 6ix9ine kind of, So he knows what he's doing. He's a gamer. He like streams on Twitch but yeah. With that being said,
it's the purple hair. Is that what it is?
Yeah, sometimes he had rainbow hair one time.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, but
what's going on? What's going?
Uh-huh.
My bad. What's going on with Conor McGregor?
I don't know. I mean, there's words about like he's hitting the slopes and shit like that, and he's doing acting, and he's trying to like campaign at the same time for another fight with Mayweather. Of course, who would want to turn down that money? But no one's gonna pay for that the second time around, especially
that shit was terrible.
Yeah, he wasn't like that time he was champion on top of the game, so like there was like some kind of sliver of hope.
Yeah.
I think when the lower in weights you go, it's just even dumber for like boxers to be like, oh, I'll fight an MMA guy, like. But then again, you remember Paulie Malignaggi, he fought Bare Knuckle, but Bare Knuckle's a different beast. It's not boxing, He got fucked up versus Conor McGregor's partner. Artem Lobov is his name.
I remember that.
There's this like huge like I guess joke in the MMA community that Artem is the GOAT. Like people just say he's the GOAT, like the greatest fighter of all time in MMA, and they have like all these memes about him. But that's besides the point. But
who's that chick that showed her titties in the BKFC shit?
Oh, I forgot her name, but the pictures are out there. Just go to Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go through the card, and I'll say the fight, and you tell me who you think's gonna win. So we have Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev, and what's your take, Andrew?
I mean, I don't really have a take. I'm just
mean like as far as who you're picking and your thought process. But I think it's good because like you kind of follow MMA, but like you don't watch it a lot, but like kind of know what's going on. But that gives the
casual fans
the perspective of like what people think sometimes when they see a fight. They're like, why do I pick this guy? Because he has a tight fade or something, like.
So I'll be honest. Well, first of all, give me a little insight. Who's favored in this fight?
Well, I don't have the odds up, but let me pull that up. Actually, I could do that. UFC 280 odds. Okay. Yeah, so it's right here. I mean, off the top of my head, I would think Islam is favored. But I'm just guessing. Let me see here. Oh yeah, so Islam is a -190, so he's the favorite.
Yeah.
Charles Oliveira plus 170. Yeah, I'm going with Charles.
I'm gonna go with the favorite on this one.
Okay.
That's really it's the only reason, It's a sure, I usually when I bet parlays on UFC, I'll go favorites on like 2 out of the 3. I'll do like a 3-leg parlay, and I'll pick like just one long shot randomly, see how it works out.
Yeah. So Islam, of course, he's like the mini Khabib, so he's gonna try to wrestle him. The only thing is, there's nothing that Islam does better than Charles, really, except wrestling. So when he takes down Charles, he's going to be putting himself in danger to get submitted. Charles holds the record for the most submissions in UFC history.
Are you going to bet win by submission?
No, I would bet Charles wins by knockout.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, TKO.
Think they'll go the you don't think they'll go the distance?
No, but if they do go the distance, Islam's gonna win the fight for sure because he's gonna hold him down the whole time, like try to wrestle him, and I think if he's able to hold down Charles, he wins the fight. If Charles can get up, there's no way Islam survives 5 rounds of his striking. So that's how I think the fight's gonna go.
Nice.
Yeah. So the next one, I think Sterling versus Dillashaw. I'm picking Sterling. Of course.
Yeah. I'm going with Sterling too.
Yeah, and he's actually the favorite. I'm surprised over Dillashaw. That's a very surprising one. Dillashaw's always the favorite. He's really good, but you know what? He is getting old. He did get destroyed versus Corey Sandhagen, but he still won the decision. But Corey was kind of like fucking up. He was like letting him take his back on purpose to show that like
he ain't shit.
Submit him, yeah, and things like that. But he was losing points, you know. So
yeah,
it's weird. Yeah. So aside from that, you know, I think Aljamain's just younger and on his game. Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Peter Yan. I'm gonna go with Sugar Sean just because he is a really big underdog, plus 235.
Wow.
Yeah, and Yan is minus 275, so he's like a big favorite.
Yeah.
That's surprising to me, but it's not because like Sugar Sean is ranked like number 12, I believe, and then he got like I guess a big jump in competition. He does have like a really big height advantage, so if he can keep Peter Yan at bay, I think he'll like really knock him out. It just depends if he has that power, you know, if he's hit that next level. Yeah, then who do you think for that one?
I'll go with Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, that would just make the UFC really interesting if he wins. The last two fights would be Beneil Dariush versus Gamrot, and Gamrot's the favorite. I'm really surprised by that. I think it might have to do because Dariush Dariush got injured, but yeah, I think that's the only reason.
What was the injury?
He had like I think he popped his knee out wrestling, or like it might have been what Achilles tendon, but it was like a freak accident wrestling.
Yeah, those are both like I hear they're both terribly painful.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I'll agree. I'll concur. I'll go with Dariush.
Yeah, and then the last one, there's like a chick fight that starts off the main card. Caitlin,
a female bout, please.
Yeah. What do they call a hen fight? Or and yeah, Caitlin Chukagian versus Manon Fiorot. I think she's French. I don't quite know, but Chukagian, I have a little story. Not to go really long with it.
She's Armenian. Is she Armenian?
Chukagian? I don't know.
She's got to be, right?
She's American, but I mean, her lineage probably, it seems like it's something European. Blonde hair, blue eyes. That last name, yeah, it seems like something around there, you know. She's trained by this guy who I'm not going to name the name, but I have some kind of relation to the guy because one of my marketing clients, shout out to Premier Rank Marketing, the pizzeria chain that I work with, they have a very prominent coach in their family who trains her, who trains Frankie Edgar. Well, Frankie Edgar, I think, retired or he's going to retire. But anyway, I met him one time. Yo, your cup's invisible. It looked like you just fucking poured books into your mouth. You got to do it again, but because I was talking and no one could see it. Say something, then do it.
Da 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 da.
All right. Well, yo, I saw the coach, right? We were at a food convention where I was like set up and I was showing my marketing stuff to like a bunch of, you know, pizzerias and restaurants to try to get some clients. And I did pretty good that night. I picked up like a good 4 or 5 clients there at the convention. But that's where I met the coach, right? And he comes up and he's like, "Oh, you're the marketing guy that works with these guys?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was there by myself.
These guys.
And I was there by myself, and he's like, yeah, he's like, you know what? He's like, I wouldn't pay you for marketing. Some weird shit like that. And I was like, I don't really care.
What the fuck?
And
That's so
yeah,
random.
it's like a personal random attack. And I'm like, what a douchebag. Like this guy's supposed to be a coach of men, you know, and women obviously, but you know, yeah, he just like singled me out and said that. And I think it has to do something because I did have a conference call with their families because they all own different pizzerias,
Uh-huh.
and I wouldn't give them like a deal. You know what I mean? Because we have a certain price for this company, and we gave them a group deal because they have a friend. You know, it's like a couple of pizzerias.
Sure.
But then they try to connect us with their family. You know, trying to do a nice thing. And I'm like, I can't go lower than the deal I give my guy. Then they're gonna want to go back on. You know, they're gonna be like, oh,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
want
yeah.
that price too. You know, so
They're
I
gonna
went.
keep working you down.
Yeah, so I gave them still the deal price, but I went like up a little bit, like a little 15% on top. You know, like because you know I don't want to hurt my own bottom line. And for all I know, they're not even intending on taking it, but they're trying to get their family lower price. You know, so yeah, then they got and they're like, oh no, nah, like I could get some front counter person to do this shit. Like, why would I pay you this and this and that? You know? And I was like, all right, well, you know, we don't just do photos on Instagram. You know, we do email lists, text lists, you know, all kinds of shit. Like your front counter person ain't gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
But whatever, that was that. And then maybe that has something to do with it. But still, that's a bad experience with a pretty well-known coach from the UFC I had, and it's always left a bad taste in my mouth. So I want that bitch to lose. So yeah,
Which girl was that? I'll bet against
Chukagian.
her too. All right, yeah. I'm down.
Yeah, I hope she gets knocked out. Yeah, so that's the UFC picks. Definitely watch this fight if you're a casual fan and you want to see some exciting fights. There's always those fights like 1 to 3 a year where like some friends will go out that night to see a fight with a friend and they'll see a fight like a really good one. Like off the top of my head, one that comes to mind is like Anderson Silva with Vitor Belfort when he fucking front kicked him into the next universe. But yeah, sometimes it makes a bunch of fans that night. This is one of those fights. So, but yeah, so now we'll move on to the NFL, and I wish I had the button so we could play the NFL music real quick right now.
Which one? The
Yeah, that would be. They're all good. The Monday night one too. But yeah, so we're doing this on a Friday night. So Thursday night
Yep.
football's already happened.
Yep.
And but the whole point is Thursday night nobody gives a shit anyway. All those games suck. Denver Broncos suck. The Saints suck. So we're probably never going to do this before Thursday. But if we do, we'll include the Thursday game. So week 7, I have the list up here. We're starting with Atlanta at Cincinnati. Well, who you got, Andrew?
All right. Let's see. It's in Cincinnati. Atlanta's been looking pretty good though.
You got Mariota.
Yeah. I'm going with an Atlanta upset.
Oh, Atlanta upset. They would have upset Brady too had they not gotten that ref call.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with Joey B. And they're at home. They're starting to hit their stride. T. Higgins is getting those late feet again. So I'll go Cincinnati. The next matchup is Detroit at Dallas. Ooh, this is a good one.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
one of my 1:00 games.
I think Detroit is a lot better than their record would have you think. But I don't know. Dallas has been on fire. That entire division is looking good, to be honest, except for the Commanders. So I'm gonna go with Dallas.
Okay. I'll go with Lions. One of the things that's notable about this game is that DeAndre Swift is coming back. Amon-Ra St. Brown is getting healthier. Josh Reynolds is playing again, also getting healthier by the week. I feel like the Philly defense exposed the Dallas. I mean, the Philly offense exposed the Dallas defense last week. They were kind of just scoring them in the first half and then took the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
I think Detroit's going to show that they can score also 20 more, over 20 points, because Philly was the only team to do it so far this year on Dallas. Also, Dak's back too, so I see some mistakes happening for Dallas on the offensive side.
Got to knock the rust off.
Yep. So yeah, so that's matchup 2. Um, Indianapolis at Tennessee.
This is going to be a good game, I think.
Yeah, that's gonna be another good one.
Divisional game. Both teams have been playing decent. I'm going to go with a low-scoring game with Indy coming out on top.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna obviously pick in Indianapolis because I like the Colts. We got Jonathan Taylor coming back, so that's good. I think like the Colts offense is finally hitting its stride. Pittman had 13 receptions, something in that range last week. Alec Pierce and Paris Campbell are looking better. The ball's starting to get distributed, and it's Deion Jackson emerged out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, now you have instead of Naeem Hines, you're going to have Deion Jackson to mix in with Taylor. It's just going to be I don't know. I feel like they're getting warmed up at the right time. As a Colts fan, I feel like it's better they started off slow than if they started off 6-0 and then like tapered off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm picking. Tennessee beat us the first time, so I'm picking for the split. I'll pick the Colts. The next matchup.
Next we got Green Bay and Washington.
Yep, Green Bay at Washington. And who do you got?
I'm going Green Bay. Although, like, I feel like their wide receiving core is very young and prone to a lot of mistakes, and that team has a lot of holes, depth chart wise. The Commanders are just terrible.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna follow you on that one. I think Green Bay still hasn't put it together though. I think it's still gonna be like a scary, like, why is this so close game? But I think second half of the year, Green Bay will look a little better with some more experience on their young guys. Got to also remember Wentz is going to be out, so I don't know who their backup is because he had surgery on his metacarpal, I think, or I don't know what he hurt.
Who is their backup? Let's check that out.
Oh, isn't it like Heineke or whatever the fuck?
Is it Chad Henne?
Heinz ketchup.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Taylor Heineke. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm picking Green Bay. Hopefully AJ Dillon has a big game. The next matchup is Tampa Bay at Carolina.
I think this is going to be another one of those games that's closer than a lot of people would imagine. I think the Buccaneers are really overrated. They're in like a shit division. So I mean, it might end up that they squeak into the playoffs, and Brady does what Brady usually does and turns it on at the right time. But I don't know. They seem to be struggling, and they're struggling, and but to be honest, Carolina's struggling even more. So I'm going Tampa Bay.
There's a lot of questions in Carolina. McCaffrey's gone. So
yeah, that's the big news of the day.
Yep. McCaffrey's in the 49ers now. Heading back to his Bay Area where he went to college at Stanford. Yeah, I got Tampa Bay. I just think they have the championship pedigree. They still got Fournette. Carolina, they don't really got much. They got rid of Robbie Anderson. They got rid of McCaffrey. They're like, it's a fire sale there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
They fired their coach.
Yep. New coach. Now another interesting matchup: Giants Jacksonville.
This is going to be a good one.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be good. If the Giants can pull off a win, it feels like Jacksonville did the opposite, like how I was saying of the Colts. Like they started off hot and now they're kind of like simmering down, and it looked good for what's the name of the coach there?
Oh,
he used to be the Philly coach.
Doug Peterson.
Yeah, Peterson looked like a genius coming out of there. I still think it's a good step up for
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, for Sunshine. But but he's he's still got to learn some more. I'm gonna take the Giants. They keep it
I'm go
rolling.
I'm going Jags.
You're going Jags, okay? They're in
Yeah.
Jacksonville, right?
Yep.
Oh, you know what? That's the Coughlin Bowl right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I know this guy. Uh, I was called the Coach Soodle. What's his fucking name? The coach, the new Giants coach,
Is it Sable?
Sable. Yeah. No, wait, is it Sable?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. But it's the guy from Buffalo. Yeah, I think he's gonna be really fired up to beat Coughlin because he runs the Jags now, and
Hmm.
he was his predecessor by a few generations, I guess. Um, okay, so next game, shitfest in Cleveland at Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore is another struggling team. I think that they can. This could probably be like the catalyst for them to like get their shit together and regroup and continue to build on that and maybe turn their season around. So I'm going Baltimore.
Yeah, this one's easy for me. Baltimore too. They just got Latavius Murray, and he was looking good last week.
Oh, they
When
got him from Baltimore.
wait, who got? Where
I
did he? Oh
mean,
no,
from
Denver.
Denver.
Wait, yeah, no.
Yeah,
I think he went to Denver. Yeah, my bad. I
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
He used to be on the Ravens, but yeah, Latavius Murray looked good in Denver. Um, I heard Melvin Gordon, but let me not jump ahead to Denver.
Yeah,
Well, it is the
Melvin.
next one. So
Yeah, Melvin Gordon is supposed to be starting this week.
yeah, so we got Jets at Denver. Who do you got there?
I fucking hate the Jets, and I'll never pick them to win. So Denver.
Yeah, I got to go with the Jets. They're looking good. They look like they have young blood that's starving. I told people don't sleep on their general manager. He's a good assessor of talent. And here we are 3 years later. Some of
Bro,
these guys are
you
what?
think Zach Wilson is the guy?
I think he's good enough to still build on. But I mean, you can't deny like Elijah. What's his name? The wide receiver. Um, Wilson, Garrett
Oh
Wilson,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Elijah Moore, Brees Hall. All these
Mm,
guys look great. Their
yeah.
defense
That
has some
that
good players.
that tiny guy is good too. He's quick. Barrios.
Yeah, Braxton Berrios.
Yeah.
He
And then you
reminds me
got
of like a
Sauce
Wayne Burnett
Gardner.
that was like a little
Exactly.
badass in school. Like just fucking
Yeah.
get kicked out. um,
Did you see that shit that happened with Sauce Gardner with the cheese head?
I did see that, and then this guy smacked it off his head.
Yeah.
And that was I forgot who it was, but oh, Alan Lazard, I think did that.
I don't remember who it
The
was.
guy that smacked it off his head. Well, yeah, I wouldn't let that fly if I was Sauce. But they
Neither.
started calling him Cheese Sauce. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next matchup, Houston at the Raiders.
This is another shit show.
Yeah.
Uh, to be honest, I mean, I feel bad for Raiders fans. I feel like they got like a glimpse of sunlight for like a couple of years, and then it was just like back to being the usual Raiders.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Houston.
Wow. Wow. I'm gonna have to go with the Raiders. I mean, I think they caught some bad breaks. They've been playing bad. I don't is Devontae playing?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the whole legal situation. Like
Yeah,
there were people saying that the league was um that like
that they were gonna
executive
like cut him and shit, right?
floating the idea of cutting him. I don't know. I think that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Um, that'd be crazy. He ended up on the Giants. That'd be insane. Um, but yeah, I think the Raiders will pull it together for this week. This is one of those games they should win. And the next matchup, Seattle versus the Chargers.
I think this is gonna be a good match.
Yeah, definitely. I think Geno Smith's gonna still continue to battle, but I got the Chargers.
Yeah. Um, uh, uh, this is a close one. Yeah, I'll go Chargers too, since it's in LA.
Yeah, this is an opportunity though for Geno Smith to really shut down the naysayers, So,
I
you
mean,
know,
isn't he like top 5, or he might even be number 1 in QB rating this
I
year?
think that was as of 2 weeks ago.
Ah,
Like, the stars align. I don't know right at this point, but I think his stats kind of came down because there was that one game where they scored like 48 points or something, like 42.
uh,
I think that helped a lot. But yeah, QBR, he wasn't first at one point. No one would have thought that.
yeah, definitely
Uh,
comeback player of the year.
yeah, he's definitely stepped up. Um, yeah. Now next matchup, Kansas City at San Fran. That's going to be interesting. Gonna see McCaffrey versus Mahomes.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you
I think
think?
I think Niners have been struggling a bit. I'm going Kansas City.
This is a potential Super Bowl matchup.
You really
Uh,
think the Niners got what it takes to make the bowl?
I mean, I feel like every year that's what people say, and then they find themselves in the NFC Championship. I think they are built for the playoff run, and to make it out into the play. Once they get into the playoffs, they have the defense, they have a good tight end, they have a dynamic wide receiver, a quarterback that doesn't make that many mistakes. He gets hated on a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, a good coach. But yeah, I mean, personally, I think it's the Bills out of the AFC right now. If you got to pick somebody,
Hmm.
and in the NFC, I think it's tough. It's tough. I say the Eagles. It has to be the Eagles. Bills, Eagles. If you ask me, like Super Bowl matchup, but
I think I think the Eagles would probably make it deep into the playoffs just because of the lack of experience.
mhm.
I I couldn't see them making it to the Super Bowl. I could see it being like, like Eagles versus like Buccaneers, or like Eagles versus, some other team that's usually in the playoffs, and just that experience, making the difference.
Yeah, I think personally, San Francisco upsets Kansas City. It's in San Fran. Um, they don't know what to expect with McCaffrey coming there. I think they're going to use him to like run the clock a lot.
Mm.
And it's really up to the defense. If the defense can stop Mahomes a couple times, I think they
Yeah.
have it in the bag. So I'm gonna go with San Fran. You
All
picked
right.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay. And the night game,
Here we go.
Pittsburgh versus the Dolphins, and we have Tua potentially coming back.
No,
Um,
Tua's definitely coming back.
yeah, I mean, from what I read, he's definitely good. But from what I see, he's still like questionable, and they're trying to keep it as close to the game. Like
Yeah,
playing
close to the vest.
Belichick mind games.
Uh,
But yeah, good because I'm starting him. I have Jalen Hurts in one of my leagues, so it's a bye week this week for the Eagles, and I picked up Tua just for that reason. Who do you got?
I think that goes without saying. I'm going with Miami.
Yeah, I gotta go with Miami too. They're playing really good. Teddy Bridgewater didn't look as bad as I thought he was gonna. He's been pretty good. Um,
Did you watch it? The game where Skylar Thompson started?
no, but I heard he did pretty well too, right?
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, I would rather have him in than Teddy Bridgewater.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Sometimes like remember with the Jets that happened. Um, I forgot the name of that third string quarterback that he came in and like lit up the Bengals. Um,
Yeah, I don't remember.
Mike Johnson or some shit like that. I don't know what his name was, but it was last year.
Mike
And
Donaldson.
yeah, and the Monday night game was a shit show, but we'll do it anyway. Chicago Bears versus New England Patriots.
I'm gonna go Chicago. Justin Fields, he's a beast. He just runs all over the place.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Patriots because young quarterbacks versus Belichick is not a good record that they have going.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good point.
yeah, it's
But
crazy
fuck
how like
Belichick.
the light from my TV, it's giving me the lighting of like me in front of my trailer, so it kind of looks like I'm really there. But yeah, so we got the NFL picks done. That's good. And now we have some articles that we wanted to talk about. and this is the current events section of the episode. Oh, by the way, just to tell you guys, if you didn't know, you can make notes in your phone and share them to people and collaborate on the note. It's something in one of the new updates for Apple, and it's kind of what we're starting to use for these episodes. So, yeah. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about, which we talked about last episode, a little bit of continuity, was that I don't know if you want to say it.
Yeah. The student loan situation with Biden trying to forgive between 10 and 20,000 of student loan debt for people making under 125,000, I believe it was. So some bullshit ass group in Wisconsin, some Republicans, tried to petition the Supreme Court to stop that, to block it, and coincidentally, that justice that Trump nominated and brought into the Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett, she was the one who single-handedly blocked that shit. She just fucking Dikembe Mutombo'd it right out of there.
Wow.
So
But what
that
do
was
they gain out of not helping people out with their debt? Like what? Like why are they so against it?
I think, Republicans just being conservative, quote unquote, they err on the side of conservative fiscally as well. So, if you're forgiving a shit ton of debt for people, I'm sure that that's a bunch of money that the federal government loses out on. In addition to that, like, I'm sure some of these people have like investments in some of these loan servicers. And so, I mean, it basically comes down to money. Politically, I don't know how they get away with it, but I guess, that's the reason why you hear it's a group in Wisconsin, not necessarily a particular politician that's saying that they don't want it. Because if they were the face of them trying to block it, fucking no working class person is going to vote for them. I mean, I guess that's not necessarily true because you have like the people who are like, why the fuck should I pay for your school?
Yeah.
But, I feel like a good chunk of the population has student debt. And I just think it would be politically unpopular if they put their face to that group trying to block this shit. But didn't go through. I jumped on that shit. I'm not sure if the application had been posted to the last episode. I think it was posted last Saturday. They put the beta test up, and so I was one of the first 8 million people to apply. So it was very simple. Really, you don't need any paperwork, nothing. You just put in your income, put your name, your social, shit like that. And actually, you don't even have to put your income in. You just put in if you made less than 125,000. Super, super easy.
So
So
that's
if you
like
have,
a conditional.
what's
I
up?
guess that's a conditional term of the forgiveness. Like if you make over that much, you can't get it.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you have any student debt and you make under $125,000, definitely apply. Because why the hell not?
Yeah. All right. Well, personally, do you think that Biden pushed this through knowing it was going to get blocked?
So that was one of my beliefs in the, when all this began. We had the midterm elections coming up. The young vote was like a huge part of what got him in office. His approval ratings were at all-time lows. So wants to look politically good, wants to be like, I'm trying to do everything for the, the young working class. And then, on the back end, people are like, yeah, this shit's not going to go through. And so they block it and it looks like he tried, but, really nothing happens, basically all for show. So, I mean, I kind of thought that that's what was going to play out, but it didn't. So the government surprised me for once.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll keep following up on this, and we'll see if some of these students get their loans forgiven.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely keep everybody posted. If I get 20,000 taken off my debt, I'll be like clicking my heels all over the place.
Yeah. And speaking of
Clicking your heels?
governments being
Oh,
financially conservative, right across the pond, we have some story developing about what looks like some kind of little like scam, right? To me it's scam. What do you?
So so after all that bullshit happened with BJ, good old Boris Johnson, um, we had Liz Truss, who assumed the role of the Prime Minister of the UK, and obviously being over, across the pond, I'm sure not many of us follow the goings on of the UK, but
Yeah,
they've
unless
been
it was like Brexit, that got really popular here.
yeah. Yeah, but they've been in like a real shit show. Like the price of bonds of government bonds really cratered. Basically, what you had was like a bunch of pension funds. You had the government and a couple of other parties. They were all
And
trying to set.
Bonds, James Bonds. Is he British?
He is British,
Okay, all right.
so they were all trying to sell these bonds on the open market. Obviously, when you have a shit ton of people trying to sell something and not as many buying, the price craters. Um, so it was a shit show in the UK. Then you have that coupled with the energy situation with the war in Ukraine, and they're just it's it's a real economic crisis in the UK, and you can safely say in Europe in general. You have all those protests going on in France. All the working class who are saying, the fuel shortages and their expenses going up, and none of their pay is going up. But so, to put it in a nutshell, that whole shit show of the economy, um, a lot of people didn't believe that the new prime minister handled it properly. And so she resigned after only 6 weeks in office. It was the shortest prime minister in the history of the UK. And one thing that blew my mind is what you mentioned about the scam was that even though she only served 6 weeks, she still gets £115,000 annually for the rest of her life. That's the sweetest job ever. Like, just do 6 weeks on the job, and you get £115,000 for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and for some reason, I feel like the backlash that she's gonna get for that because she didn't handle, a lot of the financial situations that well. I think they're gonna change it, or they're just gonna like tell her she can't get that shit or something, because people are up in arms. There's gonna be fucking people getting stabbed in the fucking, in the I don't know. There's gonna be stabbing people in the back, just angry as hell, just like, how's this bitch getting pounds? I'll give you your pounds right here, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. It's
Shit,
just the system's bullshit, though. Like everybody always complains that the system's rigged here, but it's rigged everywhere. I don't think like if they set that precedent where they can deny her that, I guess we'll call it a pension, that lifetime pension. Um, then it kind of like opens the floodgates. I think they'll just let it slide. They'll try and keep it out of the news, keep it out of the public eye, and just you know let her get her money, let her get hers.
yeah, she definitely doesn't deserve it, and this
Yeah,
is why I like
six
talking.
weeks.
This is why I like talking about things because now we're talking about rigged systems, and it just leads us right into the next topic because we have a lot of rigged systems here in America, including our Ticketmaster system, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's
Um,
going on with Ticketmaster?
so Ticketmaster, I'm not sure if anybody has seen online, but there's been a lot of posts about the Blink 182 reunion tour. I'm sure everybody's seen at least one friend or follower posting about it, and the ticket prices are fucking astronomical. Like I saw somebody post tickets in like literally one of the last rows of the nosebleeds, $350, and this is face value. This isn't like resale value. Primary market, like $350 nosebleeds.
Hmm.
Who the fuck can afford that? That is ridiculous. And so when I started reading up on it, um, basically what Ticketmaster is trying to do. Well, first of all, let's preface this by saying that they merged with Live Nation. So you have like the two biggest live event companies in the country, and now they're a monopoly. Like, really, who else is there? And what they're trying to do is they call it dynamic pricing. My air quotes are getting blocked out. There you go. Dynamic pricing. Um, they're trying to stabilize the prices, like the market prices of tickets, so that scalpers and the secondary market can't squeeze value out of the concert. So basically, it's another way of saying, look, we know people are making money off these tickets on the secondary market. And so if they're going to make money off of it, we're greedy fucks. We're going to make that money. So what they're doing is like the price, like if there's high demand for certain tickets, the prices will change on Ticketmaster. It's fucking insane. And they can do this because they have a monopoly. Bruce Springsteen actually spoke out about this back in 2019. I'm not really a big Bruce fan, but the shit that he had to say about it was like dead on. You know, saying like, we'll do all we can to make our tickets affordable for our fans. We don't agree with this. This is a monopoly. It's insane. But it's
They just throw their own shows then? Like, why do they have to work with Ticketmaster and Live Nation? Even if they have a monopoly, like they could get funding to rent out an arena for the day, like like how
I hear you.
yeah,
Get financial backing and just rent out an arena.
yeah, just like kind of like how tour managers would do, like I don't know, can't they just do it on their own and then charge whatever they want?
I wonder if there's like some type of exclusivity contracts with certain venues and or certain artists. Because
Yeah,
like with the
well,
dawn of
there's so many venues though. You don't have to use their venues. But
yeah.
you just got every venue down on lock.
But what about certain artists though? Like remember like when like digital music became like a very big thing, and so because the entertainment industry was losing money on music, like the actual product, the end product, they started doing like the 360 deals. Like, you think that they can work some shit like that with all right, look, you can't book any shows with any other promoters, like with yada yada yada. You think they can work some shit like that into it?
As a venue, as a venue owner, I don't know how you can do that though.
No,
Because
but the
like,
promoters like Live Nation and Ticketmaster.
I mean, that makes sense with the artist, but like I'm just saying, like an artist as big as Bruce though, like can't you just like be like
Yeah.
not happening and you just go on your own? Wouldn't you make more money in the long run anyway? Like just hiring a dedicated like team
Yeah,
and
your
then
own team.
charging like 2/3 of the dynamic pricing, like
Yeah.
still cheaper and you make most of that money. Like I know more than half of that shit goes to like fees, right? Like on the fucking
Yeah.
ticket. So like, I don't know, man. There's got to be a better way. Because I
Uh,
mean, people ain't gonna go. Like
yeah. I'm sure they're pricing out at like the real true fans. I'm sure a lot of them are going to be priced out of the market. And even aside from that, like even if you can afford it, even the Strokes show recently and Red Hot Chili Peppers at Giant Stadium,
mhm.
those tickets were expensive as fuck. And even the one at what was that at Barclays, the one before that, like the tickets were a little crazy, man. I remember when I saw them in 2019 on New Year's Eve, like I paid a little over 200 for the general admission seats. And yeah, it was a little pricey, but it was worth it, like you were like 20 feet from the stage, great experience, New Year's Eve. And then, we had COVID. They lost a shit ton of money in terms of the promoters and venues and whatnot. And then the tickets were like literally double the price when they tried to do New Year's Eve 2021. It was almost $500 for the same exact shit that I paid half price for 2 years earlier. So
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. And you can't say that it's all inflation. And look, I understand they're running a business and they got to recoup some of those losses, but like I feel like it's counterproductive. Like you're trying to bring people back to shows, but you're going to price a lot of them out.
yeah. I mean, you can't like claim the losses and take the L and then like try to recoup it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you claim the L. Like you took the L, you built that into your taxes and shit. They didn't fucking lose. They didn't lose. They made money off the fucking pandemic. Like even though they didn't have any artists, they probably took out fucking massive PPE.
PPEs. Yeah.
Yeah, all this shit. Now they're getting tax credits back. Now like everyone's getting tax credits all of a sudden if they got PPP loans or whatever. it's all bullshit. It's just an excuse, just like inflation. You know, they're just using it as an excuse to raise shit. Same
Hmm.
thing with gas. Everyone's doing the same shit, and then something's gonna give, and then people are gonna be fucked. But it's not gonna be everybody. It's gonna be people, working class people that are fucked. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the crazy shit about like inflation. Like there really doesn't even need to be inflation for there to be inflation. Like you can just hear like so and so I hear is gonna raise their prices, and that's your competitor. So you're like fucking Joe Schmo is raising his prices. Why the fuck won't I increase my margin? So now you start increasing your prices. And so everybody does the same shit and fucking prices start going crazy. And then the employees are like, fuck, prices are going up. I need a fucking wage increase. Now everybody's asking for a raise. Like
Yeah.
just the panic of inflation can fucking set people off. It's crazy.
They just, I bet corporations just have like people on the payroll out there just like shouting out inflation fears and shit, you know, just to fucking, stoke it up. But yeah, man. And speaking of inflation, I know someone who's definitely not going to be affected by inflation, and that's the fucking Saudis. Am I right? Or it seems like they got it all planned out there. They got fucking little gold bars everywhere, and but they've been in the fucking. You never seen that, the ATMs with the gold bars?
No.
Yeah, there's out in like Abu Dhabi and like Saudi Arabia and all that shit. Supposedly, there's like they're so rich out there that there's like ATMs where you can put in like ATM card and you can retrieve gold bars,
What the
like
fuck?
tablets, like little tablets, like I guess like ounce tablets of gold.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's how balling it is out there.
That is wild.
Yeah, I guess it's like popular amongst people that are on vacation and like just want to feel like rich as fuck. You know, like they like, got these ATMs with gold in them. You know,
Yeah, to be honest,
but
I would do it.
yeah,
Like
and I
that.
mean, I was reading online like some guy who went to like Abu Dhabi and like I guess this really rich part. He said that like out there it's like here we have like I guess Toyotas and like like models like
Yeah,
that. Like, everyone was driving
Ferraris and shit.
Lamborghinis. And, yeah, like
Yeah.
and it was like ridiculous. Like he didn't even feel like he belonged there.
Yeah,
But
even
yeah,
even in Dubai they have that fucking they have a Ferrari theme park.
yeah, like it's crazy. Like big business out there. I know a lot of people like starting like maybe 3 4 years ago. I would hear like how people would be like, oh, New York, big business and all that. Like people were going to Dubai. Like that was the next
Yeah.
frontier, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the Saudis are in the news as well, right?
Yep. So recently came out that a shit ton of like former US generals um and former military personnel from the United States are on the payroll of the Saudis. Um And so, that's some crazy shit, first of all. Second of all, for anybody who believes the bullshit that you hear coming out of Biden, like, oh, there's going to be consequences. Oh, there's going to be consequences. Like, there's never going to be consequences with the Saudis. We're never going to break our relationship with them. The minute that, like, they made the pact with the United States to start accepting only American dollars for their oil, like, we made a deal with the devil. And the fact that we could essentially get free oil, like all we have to do is hit the switch on the money printer, give them the money, and we get the oil. And in exchange for that, we give them whatever weapons. Apparently, we send our generals and shit there to train them and consult on military matters. Then you have the shit with the Israeli unit 8200 with Pegasus that we were talking about.
Yeah,
All this technology, silencing dissent and bombing Yemen and all this shit, all that is our stuff. Like we're exporting all that shit to them and they're using it to terrorize people.
yeah. The war in Yemen is highly um, underreported, I think.
Absolutely. Like you hear all this shit about what like Russia, and I'm not saying I don't support Ukraine, and I'm definitely not
Whoa,
on the
whoa,
side of
whoa,
Russia.
whoa.
But it's crazy like how the media was just like really, really for quite a bit just harping on the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, but you never heard a word or a peep about like what the Saudis were doing in Yemen. It's insane. But
Yeah.
to think like that, we have like people who had, high level security clearances, had some insight onto some intel within our country, and now they're with now they're foreign actors essentially. Like that shit's crazy. Um, the Saudis were believed to have assassinated that one journalist. Supposedly they hacked Jeff
Khashoggi.
Bezos' phone. Yeah, Jamal Khashoggi. Um, and like they're doing grimy ass shit. So it's not like they're fucking, they're not walking arm in arm with us. Even when all this gas shit started, like supposedly Biden, called him and was like, can you help us out with some oil? And they wouldn't even fucking take his call.
Wow.
And
That's
now this
crazy.
shit. And then you heard the shit that happened with OPEC. The reason why Biden was like fucking going on and on about how there was going to be consequences is OPEC plus, which is the oil producing countries in the Middle East plus Venezuela and Russia. They met and basically said, look, we're going to cut our output quota. So obviously, when you reduce the supply of something and you don't change the demand of something, then the price goes higher. So that's why everybody's been seeing the increases in prices in gasoline. And so what Biden was purporting, what his administration was purporting, is that doing that increases the economic inflows to Russia, since they're an exporter of oil and natural gas, and it's against the the success of America and the Ukraine in that war. So that's been the whole political thing, and seeing like the interviews from the Saudis is like hilarious, because they're just like shrugging it off, like, dude, like our relationship goes so deep is basically what they're saying. And
Hmm.
the elections are coming around, so we know why, that's why he's going off at his mouth. Like they really don't give a shit, because they know nothing's gonna happen. Like
Yeah, I mean, what would they even do? Like, what does he even talk like? What can he even do?
what
Like,
is he
there's
gonna say? We're not giving you weapons anymore. They cut off our oil supply. Fuck, that's not gonna happen.
yeah, that's not gonna happen. And like, even if they wanted to cut off the weapons, they have so much money. Like, no one's gonna fucking defense contractors aren't gonna turn that money down.
Yeah,
Like they the weapons aren't owned by the U.S. government. They're independent
they
contractors, right?
but they could put a block on them though. Like how the United States blocked some American countries doing business with China.
Yeah, they put a block just like they're gonna do something. Yeah, right. That those companies own the U.S. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they'd be like, yeah, you'll put a block on it in the New York Times, but we're gonna be over there getting that money.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So there ain't
Well,
there ain't shit that they're gonna do, and kind of in that same vein of like military corruption and wild bullshit like that. Did you hear about this whole Fat Leonard situation?
no. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
So it was this guy who was like the founder and chairman of this marine company in Asia, I believe. I think he was born in Malaysia, and basically what he was doing, he was a contractor for the United States Navy, and he was bribing top Navy officials with money, gifts, prostitutes, expensive dinners, to get key intel on where certain parts of the United States fleet were going to be, so that he could position himself to receive the government contracts. And then not only that, like he would overcharge them for shit and like really bilk them for fuel costs. And he was exploiting the United States government using the information that they were giving him. So they charged a shit ton of people already. They caught him, and supposedly I think he had like kidney cancer or some shit. So they released him and they let him like go under house arrest, and he was being surveilled 24/7 or some shit. I think he paid for it out of his own pocket, but then he fled. He lived in San Diego at the time, and he bounced over the border into Mexico and went to Venezuela. And when he got to Venezuela, I think is when they caught him. He was trying to go to Russia. So
Yeah, he was on the lam with one kidney.
so
That's
they
wild.
So they caught him, but that shit is crazy. Like these dudes were willing to give up intel for just like, you know, some
Yeah,
ass and some money and like
yeah.
it's
Like what?
wild.
What? How? Like I'm just guessing. Like I'm trying to think how he even approached that question because he's just like room full of hookers and like they're all having a good time. He's like, so where the ship's gonna be at? Like how does he say that? The
But
only thing
what?
I could think of is he just told him like, hey, I just want to make this money, like for the contracts. If you tell me, it'll help me out.
Yeah, yeah. But how do they know that like like the first time you deal with him, like before you actually develop that trust with him, he could just be like trying to milk you for intel to like attack the Navy or some shit. Like you don't know that,
Yeah, of
and
course.
these dudes are just fucking compromising, hundreds of American lives by giving this shit up to him on the cheap.
Yeah, he
And
probably just really set up like a good situation for them where like they weren't paying for anything, liquor, or who knows what else. And then
he
like on
might have
top of
even
that,
compromised them and shit.
the women, yeah, blackmail.
Yeah.
Um, you never know. Out there in Asia, they'll throw in like a questionable aged girl in there, and that's
Mm,
like the worst type of thing to hold over someone, like especially someone in the military. They're like, "Fuck, I'm gonna go home and they're gonna blackmail me." You
yeah.
know, it's probably something like that, because you know how they'd be doing stuff like that over there.
Yeah.
Well, it's their own fault putting themselves in that position.
Yeah. They said it was like the largest compromise in the history of the United States Navy.
Oh my God, come on, guys, got to be better than that.
It's crazy. But on that same topic, do you ever hear the rumors that Epstein was part of the Mossad, like working with Israeli
Yeah,
intelligence?
that's what they say is like the overall consensus, like that he was most likely because they were also it was either that or I think um also British. I think they were thinking like he was maybe a
Hmm.
secret agent, but yeah, it makes more sense as Israel, because like
Why does
I
that
don't
make more sense?
know, because it's mostly American and English by process of elimination, you know. But yeah, I mean, I guess he was good at what he did because you know he rose to pretty high ranks of, like you see pictures of him with Trump all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
And, you know, the client list, that's still something that's a hot topic. Why haven't they released that?
yeah. That's some crazy shit.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's tough.
There's there's a good documentary on Peacock about Prince Andrew, about like how he's pretty much been banished from the royal family. You don't really see him with anybody in the royal family anymore.
Yeah. And it's crazy, too, with the whole thing with the queen that just happened.
Oh yeah, she died.
Yeah. So they don't want him anywhere near. Yeah. But I don't know. I heard he was like a randy fellow. So
Yeah, Randy Andy.
yeah. But yeah, man, on that note, I guess, we got another episode in the books. We'll post it. I think next time we're gonna try to do the live stream and test that out. But
We
yeah,
also got some shit that we bought on Amazon. Maybe some stuff that people are interested in buying. So maybe we'll start getting those reviews in, letting everybody know like what we think of the quality, the utility of certain shit. I got a wallet. One thing I'm really happy about is the quality of the boxer briefs that Amazon produces, and some touch up paint. So that's just a couple of things that we have on the docket.
yep. And we're gonna be shouting out Jeff Bezos, putting some Amazon links in the info. So if you guys do like, do need those types of products, you can pick some up. But yeah, we have a lot of good ideas for the next few episodes that we're gonna be trying out. And like, subscribe, comment. You got anything else, Andrew?
That's it for me.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you on the next episode. Later.
Later.